I think part of the attraction to the physical working out is just the hard work. To me, when somebody works out, that is hard work. It is discipline. It is, you have to be committed to things. So of course, like from a sexual aesthetic standpoint, it's pleasing, but I think it's more about what that translates to.
True.
Is I get up, I take care of myself, I prioritize myself, I care what I put in my body, I know what it feels like to work through difficult shit, that I like. If you're just like,
So you
I don't
want-
know, like I just like to not work out, I'd be like, ugh. And
Yeah,
also,
that'd be hard.
it'd be hard because it's what I like to do. So
Yeah.
it'd be something I'd want to share with that person. If you want
Exactly.
to go do kickboxing or Muay Thai and I want to do CrossFit, that's fine. But we can both come together and understand, like, damn, I got punched in the face 10 times today. It was really hard. And I'm like, yeah, I dropped my squat bar. Like, you can relate.
You can talk about the hard work that you've done. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Go Figure, the podcast where we cut the fluff, get real, and dive into everything fitness, health, and life. I'm Lori Fetrick, former American Gladiator Ice.
And I'm Ashley Randall, certified trainer, wellness coach, and your go-to for keeping it real about living your best life.
Here on Go Figure, we're busting myths, sharing truths, and having the conversations that make you stop and say, Go Figure.
From fitness fads to mindset shifts and everything in between, we're here for the stuff you didn't know you needed to hear.
Crushing it, stuck in a rut, or just trying to keep it together, we've been there.
So get ready to laugh, learn, and level up. This is Go Figure. Let's do this.
Welcome to Go Figure, a new podcast series here on Chillin' with Ice. This podcast is where fitness, wellness, and real talk collide. I'm your host, Lori Fetrick, along with the incredible Ashley Randall. Welcome back to Chillin' with Ice, and I've got Ashley Randall with me again today, and we're going to have a really fun topic, and I've never had this topic before, and this is dating in today's day and age with all the social media and all the dating apps. And I mean, you're 39, so therefore you're in the dating. I'm not, but if I were,
Yeah.
I have friends my age that are in the dating. So let's get into that because that's going to be a fun subject today. You said first and foremost that you were engaged.
I was.
How long ago was that?
Probably 13 years ago, give or take. I was, I don't know, maybe 25, 26.
Oh yeah, you were young.
Yeah, I was a baby. And it's one of those things that's so weird. Like, we were dating and we hadn't talked about it ever, like never talked about it. So it was truly caught me off guard. I mean,
How do you propose?
Okay, I was like, if I'm
I
really,
gotta
I was like,
know.
oh God, here we go. If I'm really gonna tell the story,
Oh, please do.
strap in. Okay, so I had gone up to his house. He was currently living in Marina Del Rey. I was in San Diego. We had met in San Diego, and then he had moved up there for work. And so we were hanging out. I don't even know what we did that night, but we decided to take mushrooms.
Oh shit!
Dun dun dun.
Let's
And
propose on mushrooms.
yeah, basically,
Great
yeah,
idea.
Yeah, great idea.
Wait, first of all, can I ask his name, or do you want to keep it anonymous?
I don't care, but he might.
Okay, we'll keep it anonymous.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We'll call him Mr. X.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So
What was fucking Mr. X thinking about taking mushrooms and proposing?
Correct. What was he thinking? So we're in his house in the apartment, whatever. And I don't even really remember like taking the mushrooms. So like that part is kind of blurry. And he had already clearly like wanted to do this because what I tell next like will make sense. But we were like sitting on the couch or something, laying on the floor, whatever the fuck you do when you're like in the middle of your mushroom trip.
I've never taken mushrooms. I don't know.
Well, I've kind of scarred me for a while. I was like, I don't know if I'm about to do these again. Fuck. And so then he just like starts telling me this whole story about how like he would like talk to his dad and he talked to his grandma, and like I'm starting to think like, okay, where is this going? Basically like alluding to the fact that like he wanted to like marry me, and I'm like, okay.
And everybody gave the blessing?
Correct.
Okay.
And like, okay. And like, he was waiting for the right time. And in my head, I'm probably thinking like, does this seem like the right time? Cause like, I don't think this is the right time, but like I'm on blast off mode. So like, who the fuck knows? And the next thing I know, he's basically like proposing, and Lori, I am bawling my eyeballs out saying, it's not supposed to be like this.
No way.
Yes. Like, who the fuck knows? It's like 10 o'clock at night. Like, I don't even know. We're just
Right.
in this house. And I go to bed and I wake up the next morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm engaged. Like that was real. Like that wasn't like just a trip. That was real.
Wow.
And the craziest part is that I think drugs or no drugs, plant medicine, whatever you want to call it,
I like that.
I didn't want to break up. So it was like, it wasn't that like when you're in that moment and you're being proposed to, I was like, well, if I say no, to me it seems like we're going to break up. And 30 seconds ago, I was just fine. Like I liked being in this relationship. 30 seconds into it, I'm like, so now my option is to say yes, which is going to lead to marriage, or say no, which in my mind was going to lead to breaking up. And so, you know, in my ripe old age that I was, I just said yes, and I'm like, okay, we'll figure this out. And we did, and we kind of navigated it a little bit. We went up to my mom's house. We told her, you know, we kind of just sat in that. We had custom ring made. It was great.
Damn, you went all out.
We went all out. And then I never wanted to wear the ring. And then red flag.
Even better.
Red flag number 2. First we got engaged on mushrooms, and then red flag number 2, I didn't want to wear this ring. And I used to try to explain that, like, oh, it's because I was teaching CrossFit, so I would wear it on my necklace.
Oh my God.
I'm like Carrie Bradshaw. Like, I'm so, like, sophisticated. No. And I had, like, all these moms that would come take my class, and they were like, that's interesting. Like, most engaged girls would want to be like, boom, like, did you see my rock? And I'm just like, no, did you see my necklace? Let me put it inside my shirt.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
So that was kind of like red flag number 2. Then I had no desire to plan the wedding. Like, everyone's like, are you going to look at this? Are you going to look at magazines? I was like,
you were not ready.
No, not at all.
No.
And not to mention that he was living in LA and I'm living in San Diego, and I'm like, well, I don't want to leave my life here. Like, I really like my life. I don't see you. Like, it was just, we were too young.
How long did it take you to realize this isn't happening?
8 months.
Okay,
I mean,
8
probably
months.
for that whole 8 months, I think I really sat in that. And I was like, I
shit.
don't know, you know, like what to do. I don't, you know, I have to break up with this, like all of the things. I don't want to do this. I'm kind of now mad at you that I have to do this. Like,
oh my God. Now not only you're not wearing his ring, you got proposed with mushrooms, but now you resent him a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this
now
is not going well.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. Fuck you. You can't just like put me on layaway. Like, you live in LA and I live here, and like you put a ring on it, and now like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Maybe there was a motive behind that.
There may have been.
Possibly.
He was probably like, you're a good catch, but I'm not quite ready, but I'm just going to
lock your ass
you down.
in.
Yeah.
I'm going to lock you in.
Well, I had the final say with that.
All right. So you break up.
So we break up, and, you know, it was hard and it was messy, and like, you know, we're still close. I think I said this on the first episode, maybe not, but he just recently came to my house for Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
With his girlfriend.
With his girlfriend. So like, we're still very close. I mean, obviously not right away, like time has woven in and out,
Right.
But there's nothing but love, you know, and he taught me so much. I think we both taught each other so much, just about life, about heartbreak, about people, about just humans, even just dating, you know.
Right.
When I first met him.
How long were you together?
I would say 2 years.
That's still pretty short time.
It was.
But wait, it's a short time now, thinking about it, but it's not a short time when you're in your early mid-20s. When you're in your early mid-20s, that's like forever.
Yes, it is forever.
Yeah.
It is forever. And it seemed like we were doing this.
What's your
know?
longest relationship? You're like 2 years.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, I think 2 years. I really do. And that might be like, I could probably name 2 that were, you know, 2 years long. Yeah.
I'm like a lifer.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck. I don't know where I got from. 14 years. Wow. My relationships went from obviously dating in the early 20s, you know, were like, you know, months, maybe a year. But the first one went 10 years.
Wow.
13 years.
Wait, how old were you when you did the 10-year?
I met my first girlfriend that I realized at that point in time I was gay. Like,
Okay.
oh shit, I'm gay. Fuck, she's beautiful. I love her. She's awesome. I was 27.
And then 10 years. That
10
took you
years.
all the way to, wow.
Took me 10 years, yeah.
Okay.
But she was, okay, but here's the other thing that happens with girls. She became my absolute best friend.
Yeah.
You know, so that intertwine is kind of weird.
Yeah. But also kind of cool, wouldn't it? I don't know. I feel like.
Okay, today, we're still best friends today.
That's awesome. Okay.
And then my 13-year, we're still best friends today.
Jeez.
When we broke up, we didn't speak for maybe 6 to 7 months, but then after that, we spoke like every other day. Wow. It was just so bizarre.
And both of them were okay with those friendships.
Yes, because I think what happens with girls is when we're done.
Same.
There is absolutely no sexual attraction whatsoever. You kind of look at them and go, what the fuck was I thinking?
I am the,
You know?
Yes.
But I always thought it was different with guys on the other end, because I always figured the guys, when you broke up with exes, the guys would always want to possibly fuck,
Yes.
you know, your ex no matter what. Well, girls aren't like that.
No.
We're like,
No.
absolutely not. Because I now go back to my ex-girlfriend's condo in Florida that she has a girlfriend with my girlfriend, and we stay the weekend. or
All
we'll
four
stay a
of you?
week. Oh yeah.
Okay.
All four of us.
And everyone's just chilling.
Everybody's chilling. It's just like you and your ex
Yeah.
at Thanksgiving. And
Right.
so many people don't get that.
Correct.
You know, but you do. You have to have a certain level
You do.
of what's the level I'm looking for? Friends, trust.
You definitely trust. Definitely just maturity.
Become a family.
Yes.
Love on a deeper level. I'm not in
Yes.
love with you, but I will always love you as a
Correct.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
That
think
is-
maybe
But that's impressive that you could have, I mean, basically 3-decade-long relationships.
what the fuck?
I mean, honestly, like that. I mean, some people can't even
Like
have
I don't want to go look.
one marriage that can't even last that long. So like that is really interesting. It does speaks volumes to you and to the people that you pick, at least, that you're like, okay, you, and to your point, like still being friends with them, like these are people that I love and care about.
Hold on, I got to throw in a wrench there.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
you have a crazy one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you see, okay.
You're like, well then.
I know, really. That speaks volumes about you. Does it really? Wait until you hear this one.
You're like, then I've also had 27 one-night stands. So when I'm
Oh,
not
way
locked
more than
down,
that.
yeah.
But besides that, way fucking more than that. But remember, I went on tour with Gladiators,
This is true.
and I was in the limelight forever. So, okay. I have a photo in my house that has a photo of my current girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, and me all together when I was with Sharon, which was the middle one,
Okay.
the 13-year one. So I was with Sharon,
Okay.
and we were all together. There was Trinity, which was my first, and then my current now, April. So we were all friends. That's what's weird about
That's
it.
crazy.
April I've known since she was 12.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, weird story there, long story there.
Okay,
but I've
new
known her since
episode.
she was 12.
Okay.
Okay. Trinity, like I said, we've always been best friends.
Okay.
Ever since we broke up. And then Sharon kind of got thrown in the mix.
Sharon's like, I don't know how I got
Who
here,
the fuck are these girls?
but I think I'm locked in for a decade.
Right. And so now it's like the joke is, oh, we're all going to get a compound when we're all old and live together because
When you're all old.
we're all old now.
Yeah, I was gonna say. And so now,
all old
so you're
now.
getting the compound now. Okay.
So, yeah, the youngest one is April.
Wow.
And she's 43.
Wow.
So Trinity is 3 years older than me. So
Okay.
she's 64. Sharon is, I want to say, I forgot. I think she's 7 or 8 years younger than me.
Okay.
And then April's 13 years younger than me.
Dang.
So yeah,
I mean, why
it's-
not get a compound?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But when you said, "Oh, it's so cool that you guys were all really cool," well, we all kind of knew each other, and I was the common denominator with all
but
of
sometimes
them.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
There's that one person that is like the glue.
So therefore, I think the relationships worked, one, because of the fact of what kind of people we were. We were all chill. We were all easy. We all loved animals. We had great communication. A lot of things in common. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how most romantic or friendships
we're all hot.
work. Yeah, it's gotta be hot. Come on, you can't be like, oh, don't bring her. She brings like the not.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not the hot one. You're not in the group. So when you're out dating now,
Yeah.
where do you go? What do you do? I mean,
Well,
how do you find them?
Listen, Lori, I might be the worst dater ever because kind of like you, it sounds like maybe like with April, I like to date people that I make my friends. Like I like to, like we're friends and then I'm like, okay, I can trust you. I like you. We have something in common. So I really only dated 2 people that I hadn't done that pattern with, that I hadn't, they didn't go to my gym. Like I hadn't had some type of
Did you ever
like,
date one of your trainers or somebody you're training or a workout
No,
partner?
I never, I did. I dated a workout partner. Yes.
Okay.
And that was a bummer because I really liked working out with him. And we tried to keep doing that after we broke up, or I guess like stopped dating because we weren't like exclusive boyfriend and girlfriend. But yeah, that was a bummer.
So that
I
didn't
was
work.
like, we went to this like bodybuilding gym in San Diego together and I loved it. And then it just didn't work. And I was like, but can we still work out
I know, right?
together?
I'm sorry,
You're
I
still
don't
going to
like
spot
you
me, right? And like
anymore.
he's like, no, that's
He's
not
like,
how
yeah,
this
bitch,
works.
go ahead.
Yeah, he's like, oh, didn't see you there. My bad.
Oh, did you need a spot? I'm sorry.
So yeah, so I mean, dating is not something that I'm like good at. I don't even know. Maybe I need to do that like for this show. Maybe we need to like set me on some dates. But
Ooh, that would be fun.
I have never.
What would be your type?
That's a good question.
Do you
It's
have a
definitely
type or
evolved.
is it no? Kind of.
I don't think I have a physical type. I mean, I've dated all. If you lined them all up, you'd be like, I mean, maybe the only, not even. I was gonna say maybe they're all tall, but not. I mean, I've dated some that are my height.
Do
or
they
maybe-
have to be in shape? bodybuilder wise.
They don't have to be in shape bodybuilder wise, and I've only dated I think one that probably wasn't. You have to. I think part of the attraction to the physical working out is just the hard work. To me, when somebody works out, that is hard work. It is discipline. It is, you have to be committed to things. So of course, like from a sexual aesthetic standpoint, it's pleasing, but I think it's more about what that translates to.
True.
Is I get up, I take care of myself, I prioritize myself, I care what I put in my body, I know what it feels like to work through difficult shit, that I like. If you're just like,
So you
I don't
want-
know, like I just like to not work out, I'd be like, ugh. And
Yeah,
also,
that'd be hard.
it'd be hard because it's what I like to do. So
Yeah.
it'd be something I'd want to share with that person. If you want
Exactly.
to go do kickboxing or Muay Thai and I want to do CrossFit, that's fine. But we can both come together and understand, like, damn, I got punched in the face 10 times today. It was really hard. And I'm like, yeah, I dropped my squat bar. Like, you can relate.
You can talk about the hard work that you've done.
For sure.
And speaking of getting hit in the face, you were in amateur boxing.
Yes.
That might not have went over too well in your dating experience if you continue.
So funny enough, I dated my fiance was one of my coaches. So, and that was actually really difficult because there were times that like he'd put me in the ring and I would feel like I'm getting the shit beat out of me, which I probably was. And I wanted boyfriend, ex to come in. And he was like, no, I'm coach right now. Like and I was like, no, like I want you to like take care of me.
I'm going to go on a deeper level here for
Okay.
a second. You were boxing. You're a badass. Do men ever get intimidated by who you are and the strength that you propose?
I mean, I'm going to speak for them.
Okay, go ahead.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that they should or that they do, but I have been told that they do. I have been told that the way that I carry myself, my posture, the way that I talk, that I'm just very intimidating.
You're a strong woman.
Yeah.
They don't like strong women. Not all. Some men
Correct.
love strong women, which
That's
is
true.
awesome, but they can't control you.
Correct. And I mean, I feel like that we're kind of weaving in and out
Yeah,
of
we
a
are.
lot of things right now, but it's interesting because which this can be a whole nother topic of conversation. I was in like a very like abusive, controlling, had to go to court, restraining order relationship, but with a very physically powerful man who was emotionally very weak. And
Got it.
so what kind of like what you're saying, like his way to control me was to kind of play into my power, but then get me into his web. And then it was full control. It was, the next thing I knew, I was driving his car. I was, living at his house. And so it's like, you saw my power, but you kind of stripped that away and then forced me to like need you, even though I didn't want to. So most men that I date are very comfortable with who I am. They're like, I love that you work hard. I love that you this. I love that, all that you are self-sufficient.
So they're secure with their masculinity.
For sure.
And see, that's what I always say. I had a problem when I was, okay. So the one thing that we're getting to know each other a little bit is, yes, from the time I was young, experimenting with girls, thought I was gay, and then I didn't think I was gay, still dating guys, love men.
Yeah.
Love sleeping with men. I just mentally can't have a relationship because I can't connect. I get bored.
Okay.
I don't know why, I just do.
Yeah, like what part's boring?
Conversations.
Okay.
Jeff is laughing. I don't know.
You guys can be boring. I'm just saying, yeah, you guys can be.
I haven't even, I can say now, 61 years old today, can I remember 2 times maybe having a conversation with a gentleman that was intriguing and I just loved and I wanted to stay in the room
Yeah.
with him and keep talking, maybe twice in my life.
Damn.
Because it always in the back of my mind, and this is my own personal fucked up problem, is it's like they just want to sleep with me.
Yeah.
They're not really interested in what
100%.
I'm about, who I am, what I'm interested in. And then I see some of the dating apps and the conversations that I want to say what normal people do, whatever normal is. And I'm like, wow, I'm like an anomaly
Yeah.
because I'm supposed to be a certain way. And yet I do vary outside the lines a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never really went to therapy to figure out what bores me or what it
Okay.
is about them, but again, most lesbians hate to have sex with men.
That's true.
It's repulsive.
That is true.
I fucking love it.
Right.
I just don't want to talk to you afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. I have another girlfriend who's gay and she kind of would probably fall into that same category.
Okay.
I mean, she slept with men for a large part of her life, and her wife never slept with men. And then she just was like kind of tired of having bad experience after bad experience with men for various reasons, which like I won't share. But I think she just was like, I'm tired of this. And this is what like they represent that. And so then when she met her wife, it was like, oh, wait a minute. And she was actually very put off even by her. She was like, I actually don't like think I even want to date you. I don't even think I'm into girls. But then kind of what you're saying, it became this best friend thing. It became, I just want to be around you all the time. It became all of this. And then I think the sexual attraction grew.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then it was like, okay, this is actually what was missing in her life. But she was trying to almost fill it with the men.
Got it.
But was never enjoying it fully.
Interesting.
And so then kind of like what you're saying with like your ex-girlfriends, like they're your best friends. You want to spend time with them. You love to talk to them. You want to hang out with them. And it's like, and then you add in the sexual piece and it's like, well, yeah, why would I bore myself with this other thing that I don't enjoy other than just to have sex with?
It is. It's navigating the waters through that is interesting, especially when I talk to different women that are like me in that boat.
Yeah.
Now, if you were out dating right now, I mean, do you find them in the gym? Do you find them on dating? Oh, have you ever been on dating apps?
I have never been on a dating app.
Never, ever.
Never.
Oh my God. One day we got to get on a dating app just for you, just for fun.
I think just for
so that
fun.
you can see what's out there.
I think so. I think it'd be fun because when I lived in San Diego, I was very plugged into the industry. You know, I worked in the bar industry, I worked in the fitness industry. So I was very plugged into that. And I always kind of said, you know, San Diego has like Peter Pan syndrome. Like none of the boys want to grow up. They all just are like lost boys and they're all just like Peter Pan syndrome. And then I moved to Colorado. And then I dated, but I kind of met somebody and that kind of was like the antithesis, you know, like that was just what that was. So now, yes, coming back here to California, I think it'd be interesting. Like what's out there?
Well,
what is out there?
So many people now are working from home.
Yeah.
They're not out.
Right.
And then you had a point to where, are you too old to go out to nightclubs and bars?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was 39, when I was your age, and then I actually went out to bars and I felt like I was fucking 75 and everybody looked 18.
Yes.
And I was like, what the fuck?
And now it's even worse. Now I see girls, I'm like, you're like a full-blown woman and you're like 13 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, hi. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I think with dating that is tricky is people have been so like plugged into their phones that I don't think people are, I guess, like as social.
That's what I mean by this.
Where it's like you could used to go out and like there would be conversations or there would be like the goal was you're going out to meet somebody.
Yeah.
Now I think it's like you're not doing that. You're not just going out like to see what's out there, maybe, but it doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like that's
now it's kind of like, okay, if they're going to go out, they're going to go out with a group of their friends.
Yes.
Okay, I had the balls to go by myself.
Yeah, same.
You know, and
that's how I met my fiance. I was literally in a bar in San Diego by myself. And I'm like, oh, that's probably the last time I ever do that. Like, shit, I ended up getting me engaged.
Exactly.
I was like, who let me go out by myself? But it's true.
Yeah.
You have to want it. And I think that now people are just kind of, I don't want to say lazy because I could fall into that boat too. But it's just, it's different. So much of everything is like on our phones.
And then they might not even be the real photos.
Oh God, don't even get me started
so
on
if we're
that.
on our phones and we see somebody, there's so many filters.
Yes.
Oh my God, I've heard so many horror stories from my friends that the person shows up and they're just like, they look at their phone and they look across the table. They're like, is this your brother?
Yeah.
Who is this person?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was taken 20 years ago. You might want to get a fucking current photo, maybe?
Yeah. No kidding. I mean, it's a wild, wild west out there.
But you're out in the gym. You're out in the public. But there's so many people that don't leave their damn house.
Correct.
And yet they're like, how do I meet people? How do I date?
Yeah.
You know,
I think there's some really fun things to do. When I was in Denver, I was definitely, because I was a transplant. So I felt, you know, when I was in San Diego, I grew up there. You know, I went there when I was 21 and lived there till 33. So I feel like I went through many seasons of life there. I had a really good network. When I went to Denver, it was like I didn't know anybody. So I was forced to join some of these like social groups or go to the free workout that this gym was hosting or the, you know, the happy hour that was happening here, because it's like, if I'm not even just going to make a friend, like if I don't go to these things, I'm going to not even have friends here.
Yeah, that isolated person that you're just like.
And so then I also think at this age, I'm becoming the anomaly where I haven't been married and I don't have kids.
Would you say that a guy would be like, okay, what's wrong with you?
Yes,
Really?
I do. I think I'm getting slightly to that point where, yeah, because I think that given my age range, I am more looking at men who maybe have been married, who maybe do have kids. And so I think when you look at me, it's like, okay, so you're almost 40. What is wrong with you? Like, why haven't you had more than a 2-year relationship? Why haven't you, and it's like,
Why haven't you, Ashley?
I mean, the reality of it is like, if you aren't massively like up leveling my life, I don't need you.
Oh, you're taking after your mom.
I am, which there is, a lot of that I don't like. There is a lot of that I want to try to break. But that's what I was shown. I was shown that you can do it on your own. Is it what I want? No, I would love to have a partner. I would love to have somebody that is my best friend that I can share my life with. But I also don't need necessarily or want like the headache and the bullshit that can come with that
All the
sometimes. And so sometimes I'm like, I don't think I would just rather
go
do this.
home
Yeah.
and watch
Hang out with my dog.
Lioness.
Yes.
Oh my God, you got me on that show, by
The
the
show
way.
is so good.
Oh my God, it's
So good.
such an amazing
Maybe
show.
I am the lioness. Maybe my calling was to be in the CIA and I should just be running around the world.
There you go. Why not?
I miss my volleyball calling and I miss my CIA calling. Damn. Fucking
I
Thousand
went on a
Oaks.
dating app with one of my friends just to see what's out there because
Okay.
she's the same age as me. And I was in tears laughing so hard and yet tears at the same time because I felt so sorry for her.
Could you imagine like if you had to do that?
They were, I'm sorry, but a lot of them were, how do I say, fat, bald, and just dumpy
not your
looking.
type?
Just dumpy looking, just
Yes.
like they gave up.
Yes.
But here, I'm on a dating app, and do you want to date with me? Because I really don't give a shit. I mean, that's how
Correct.
it came across almost. Or it was the flip side to where they were so done. And so like, look at me,
Yeah.
look at my car, look at my
Yes.
Devanir, look at how badass I am. And I'm like, you have a fucking attitude.
Yeah. Gross by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, I can't hardly even imagine doing it at my age, but I could not imagine at your age or if someone has lost like a spouse or something and they
my
want to
God.
try to re-enter into that. It's like, it's overwhelming for me. And I am open to a wide range of, activities and things, but I couldn't imagine if you're like, I'm set in my ways. I am this, I'm 60 years old. I've done this. I've been married. I've raised kids, like whatever it is. And then now you're like, I just want to find like a person to like do life with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of, not to sound so sappy, but like that's kind of all I think we're really looking for is just
Share.
that person
To share life
who's going to
with.
have your back.
Now, my mom was 75.
Okay.
She's 84 now. And I can remember almost 10 years ago, she still was really thinking about dating.
At 75. Good for her. I need to get some tips from her.
And she had some she had some let's call it stipulations on the men still. And I'm
Okay.
like, Mom, you're 75. They needed hair. And I was like,
Okay, man.
if they were
Tough
slightly balding, she was like turned off. I'm not even joking. It was
Tough
kind of
crowd.
funny. They needed to drive a nice car because that showed my mother that they took care of themselves and they had some sort of money.
Okay.
I don't know what that was all thing.
Okay.
And then the other one, here's the funny part, is, okay, my mom's been married, she's been divorced, she's been remarried, she's been in and out of her church, which I call a cult. And that is, these men want to have sex with her and she just doesn't believe in that any longer. And she needs to be married before she has sex. And I'm just like, oh
Wait,
my
she's
God.
saying this she's how
That
old
was
now?
at 75. Right now it's done. She's done.
I love that.
Yeah, at 75 though, my mom was still probably,
like,
she
no.
would have still been sexually active, but she needed to be married before she had this. Because in the Bible, you're
And
not
Bob's
have
over
to
here
have
like, yo,
premarital
listen,
sex.
what's your mom's name?
Dorina.
Okay, so Bob or whoever is like, listen, Dorina, I just am trying to get one last in. She's
I
like,
know,
well,
right?
we'll need to get married first,
I know,
and
I'm
let me
not-
see your car,
Oh
and
my God.
is that your real hair? And he's like,
Exactly.
lady, I'm just trying.
Can we just get one last one? That's what was so
She's
funny
like, no,
about it.
no, we
Yeah.
actually can't.
I
I
know.
mean, she's got some values. Let
I
her
know.
stick to those. Good for her.
Absolutely. It's
Dang.
hysterical. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could be out there. There's
No.
I don't know.
And another thing,
I'd date another friend of mine and just call it a day and say,
Same.
fuck it.
I mean, honestly, like I two things. I always joke with my friends that like I'm just like on the recycling program, like that I would just rather go back through and like recycle through someone that I dated rather than like go through all of that again. At least I know what I'm dealing with. And this may or may not shock you. I've never had a one night stand.
Never.
Never.
Never, ever, 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 ever.
Ever. Never, ever.
Kudos to you. That's pretty awesome.
But
why?
Because I maybe like your mom, but like there is a part of me that's like, I have to have like some type of a connection with you before I can just have sex with you. And even in my 20s, like, I mean, there were people that like, you know, I've slept with like multiple times, like I wasn't dating, you know, but I have never just like met somebody at a bar and been like, we're having sex and then like never see you again. Like I've never done that. So that kind of flips back to the dating thing, like where it is hard because I do need to like genuinely like you, like want to spend time with you, want to like let you into my, what feels like kind of like private little world.
That's just too much trouble.
It is too much trouble. So then I'm just like, that's fine. Well, if he falls out of the sky, great. If not, you know,
but that's awesome for you.
I mean,
yeah, no, I was a little whore when I was back in my prime.
I mean, listen, I think there's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with that. I racked up still a pretty good number of people.
Oh, yeah.
I just had like repeat offenders. Like I was like, okay, well, we can't just have sex one time. Like, we need to do this multiple times.
Yeah, that's no. It's I don't know. I don't know what would happen if I had to be on the dating scene right now. I don't think I'd last.
Well, I think it would be different. I also have heard from some friends that have been married and divorced that are my age that say there's kind of some like beauty in it because you're so much more clear as to what you want. So I think if you were to get on the apps now, it might take you longer, but I think you would be so clear. You wouldn't be going on dates with, you wouldn't be like, oh, I don't know,
waste my time.
Maybe I like this, maybe I like that about her. You'd be like, you either fit the box or you don't.
Interesting enough, because of my muscularity, my size, being in the fitness, I had a hard time with men, like going through my 30s and 40s.
Okay.
I was too muscular. I was too intimidating. I spoke my mind. They didn't like that.
Especially back then.
I remember I did date one of my workout partners once. His name was Dave. And and I told the story before. We were walking down Venice Beach, and it was in the prime of my bodybuilding. I was competing. I was going nationals. I was big. I was a fucking monster. And he was a pretty big dude too.
Okay.
And I remember hearing somebody out of the corner of my ear, and they went, "Holy shit! Look, her arms are bigger than his." And it just made me kind of like that big flower that's all open. I went like this. And I just wanted to shrink. I wanted to be smaller. I wanted him to stand out because I kept thinking in my mind, oh my God, that hurt his feelings. You know, oh my God, he's not going to want to date me because now people are talking about I'm bigger than him, even though I wasn't.
Right.
He's not going to want that kind of girl. He wants a really, more of a feminine type of girl. I've always had insecurity issues with not being that small, petite, feminine girl for different guys. It was during Gladiators. There was a guy. He wasn't a gladiator. He was a friend of a gladiator, and he was hot and he was amazing. And I would have loved to have went out with him. Oh no, he overlooked me like I was not even there because he liked the real small, feminine little girls. And again, that kind of fucked with my head and made me feel even more insecure. So I know I have some insecurities about that, and I always laugh and go, "That's why I'm gay," but not because you guys are boring, Jeff, but
because you're not jacked enough for her.
Not even that. I don't even want the jacked guys. No,
I get what you mean. I mean, I have felt some of that even just with my height.
I was going to ask you that because you're 5'10".
Yeah, there's been some times that same thing that I'm like, well, first of all, the dating pool, if I'm going over 5'10", honestly is a lot smaller, and if I'm even trying to hit 6 foot, it gets even smaller. And so then you're like, okay. And there is that part of me that wants to feel like that tiny little girl. Like you want to feel protected. And when you are physically strong, when you can dominate in the gym, and when you're tall, and then you add those things together, you're like, okay, but it takes a very special person who has the physical stature and the emotional ability to be able to like handle all of that.
Yes.
And sometimes you're like, okay, like to you with that guy, like I'm not here to make you feel better about yourself. I want you to just be you and I'm going to be me, and like together we're like the best, versus me having to be like this little shrinking violet to make you feel better. And I also don't want you to be so overly masculine that you go like peacocking. You know, it's like it's a whole thing.
Never dim your light to have someone else's light shine brighter.
Love that.
And
Love that.
I have remembered that forever, you know, and it's just like, no, fuck it. I am who I am.
Right.
I'm going to be who I am. And if you don't like who I am, you can't handle the heat sitting and being in the same room, then I'm not for you.
Correct.
And
because
I
at
love
some point
the fact that I can be for some
you
people.
You should be like the person that you are, because you will be for some people.
Yeah.
And like, to me, there's nothing worse than dimming the light and kind of like tricking them. And then now you have to keep that light dimmed forever.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start to shine the light, they're like, oh, whoa. That's not who I thought you were. You're like, well, I just dimmed it to get you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, you're going to have to dim it forever to keep me. And like, that sucks.
Yeah.
No, like let that shit go. And if you are who you are, then yeah.
And dude, there's a shit ton of fitness chicks out there now.
Yes.
Okay, so that was me back then, and it wasn't that popular. So now, I mean, the men have to kind of step up.
That's a good point.
Because
that's a very good point.
I never thought about that until we were just talking about that. But now it's like, it's saturated with fitness chicks.
That is.
And they're getting stronger and they're getting more powerful. You know what I'm saying? And I would like to think that maybe I was a little bit of a trailblazer back in the day to give women the permission to actually lift, be strong, be powerful, be sexy, be feminine, all at the same time. And because shit, I was doing this 30 years ago when it wasn't popular and it wasn't the thing. So now men have to kind of step up their game and go, okay, so I'm dating a fitness girl, you know, kind of thing.
Yes.
She's pretty hot. Maybe I'm not in shape, but maybe it makes them step up their game a little bit.
Totally.
You know?
And that's, I mean, again, I think that's the whole beauty of like a relationship. Hopefully each of you are continuing to bring out the best of the other person. You know, like I said earlier, like I have dated guys that aren't super, you know, the Barbie doll look, but they might have a killer business.
Yeah.
They might know how to dominate, you know, in that area. And I'm like, okay, that's still attractive. Like it's still attractive to me that you can do that. Yes, I'd like to have a commonality of like taking care of yourself, but I just want you to know, I just want to know that like, you know, and can appreciate hard work.
Right.
That you take care of yourself, whatever that means, whether that means, you know, your thriving business, your physical, because I think it has to be both. I've also dated the guy that's the bodybuilder that I'm like, hello, is there anything in there other than muscles? Because there's nothing going on upstairs other than the fact that you can balance your macros and you can lift a lot of weight. Like
they're looking,
you
they're
look
looking
really
in the mirror
fucking
more
hot.
I was going to say, they're looking in the mirror more at themselves and how hot they look rather than how hot you look next to them.
I'm like, we get it. You're hot. Hi. Like, so, you know, it goes both ways. It goes both ways. And it's a wild ride. I'll have to go on some dates and maybe report
Oh my God,
back.
we're going to do that. You need to go on some dates and we're going to do the Sex in the City kind of like we'll talk about it on the podcast, like how they went. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it at this on this one little note. I have a friend that actually has been on many dating apps and went out on dates, and she's gonna listen to this partly because she helps me put it together. She was out on a date and I was laughing my ass off when she told me this. The guy on the other side looked at her and went, "You have big hands. You have like man hands." I'm like, that's not something you say on the first date. I'm like, what the fuck was he getting to?
Yes.
What was that all about?
That exactly. What's wrong? What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Who cares? I mean, are you looking at, normal?
Keep those things to yourself.
She has normal hands.
Right. I'm not looking at you being like, no, it looks like you might have the beginnings of a receding hairline. Like, I'm going to think that, but I'm not going to share it with you.
I know.
You have big hands. Like, okay, thank you for the observation.
All right, so let's see. You're age 39. You got to find them out there somewhere. Yep. Dating apps are not for you. Hey, Jeff, real quick, where do you go to date?
I'm social. I go to concerts. I go to libraries. I go all sorts of hiking from time to time.
Libraries?
Library. I know.
Yeah.
The library. I'm like,
The library?
there's no talking in the library.
Can't talk in the library.
He's like,
You can now. It's 2024.
maybe you pass him a note. Maybe you slide the note across the library. You're like, circle yes or no if you want to go on a date.
You're like,
with me.
meet
And
me.
He's like across the way, like waving.
Meet me on aisle 13 in the section of the G section.
Yeah.
You're reading Twilight. I'm reading the Kama Sutra. Let's switch.
He's like,
Fucking
bitch, I know
Jeff."
exactly what you need. Come over here. Fiction or nonfiction?
Right.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Ashley, how do you want to wrap this up today? You wrap it up.
Oh my gosh. I just want to, you guys, well, actually, you know what I think we should do? I think if you guys can leave a comment wherever this is, leave a comment at where your favorite place to go on a date is, or your favorite place to pick up a date. And then maybe Lori and I will send me there. And thanks for being here. Lori and I are going to bring you guys some good content. So until we have a name, we'll just be Lori and Ashley chilling.